Now moving on to a couple common questions that we always have every semester. Does the name of the parameters have to match the name of the arguments? Absolutely not. If it's an idea of reusability, you want to generalize your parameters. If, however, it's modularity, you can do whatever you want, but they don't have to match. Remember the idea of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So whatever name you have inside the function is actually completely independent from the main code. MATLAB has two memory locations that are completely different. If they happen to have the same name, why not? But they do not have to. Second question, can a function call another function? Of course. The trap user function called the input command. That was inside a while loop, but this is a function that calls a function. Whether it's built-in or programmer defined makes no difference. When we created getInput, notice I copy-pasted the calls. So getInputs calls the trap the user function, which calls the input function. There is absolutely no limit to how many times a function can be called. Let's conclude with a couple horrible mistakes. The first one is to do a clear command. If a function has parameters, meaning inputs, clear deletes them. So all of a sudden you spent your entire maybe 10 minutes coding a function that has inputs and you delete them. When you try to call the function, MATLAB will tell you, I don't know A, B, and C. The other one is rarely done. Again on a function that has parameters A, B, and C. Why bother asking for the parameters again inside a function? That would mean that suppose you're calling the sine of 30 degrees. 30 is the value you wanted to use. What would happen if, when you ran this, MATLAB would ask, what angle would you like? Well, didn't you want 30 degrees? Same mentality. A function should not re-ask for the inputs, unless it's trapping the user for invalidity like we did. But there was a huge condition. While invalid. In this example here, A, B, and C come in and are immediately replaced. So MATLAB follows it, but already tells you in orange it's weird. The key ideas of function is always to make a code more manageable. There's a lot of variables that can be passed back and forth. Think reusability, think modularity, pass values back and forth so MATLAB flows the information peacefully. The only way to understand this is by doing it yourself. It takes practice. So go ahead and try it on your own. Take a code that you already have, maybe lab 2, 3, 4, and try to piece it into different little parts, different functions. That's the only way you'll make this work.